Ciao, dneska si tam do dalšího videa a dneska si uvidíme tohle. A pak ne, není tohle.
Du, willst legendäre Spiele live miterleben?
Das se to ani není blízko k mojím bráchovu.
I mean, there's just so much rotation everywhere. This looks really classic.
We've been in hail for like 10 minutes now.
Yeah, I think that's a tornado back.
That's a tornado?
We can see it on our camera. It's a little hazy. We're waiting to see if it pops out, but there's a very suspicious
It
should get more clear with time.
I just want to let y'all know. Luckily, we looked at the news and no one passed away.
Johnny is the one in town that took a direct hit. They all hit at night too, so a lot of people were in bed or
Tak lidi, jak jsou, víte to video, napište v komentáři, jo nebo ne,
Do y'all know
jo?
what kind of tornado went through here?
up to over a mile wide. Had these intense vortices that were touching down in different locations around that. So that's why you see some areas of intense damage and others not as intense.
I feel like I'm
No, jestli chci dodat do
It doesn't even
nebo
feel real.
něco
So this
takového,
used to be a building.
klidně to udělejte, prosím.
Now it just looks like a giant
Prosím, dejte
junkyard.
volně kdyby moje ženy
Probably driven about 300 miles, there's a large supercell storm slowly forming right above our heads.
The craziest inflatables you've ever seen! How big is this flamingo? This isn't a boat! It's a floaty! This floaty is an actual tank! It's an inflatable race car! They made a whole pizza in this pool! This floaty is a cuddling sloth for when you want to play ping pong in the pool. An inflatable T-Rex. An inflatable Pac-Man game you can play in the water. For when you want a chicken fight and you only have 2 people. It's an inflatable slide. You can see a whole new world on this floaty. And eggs and bacon. Follow from...
Come with me to do a random act of kindness. Ooh, you. I'm gonna transform this grave for free. I wonder who's buried here. Let's clean the nameplate. I've never seen this before. There's 2 people buried here, Angela and Pasquale. That's true forever, love. It says Angela died in 1991 and Pasquale died in 1992, less than a year later. He was heartbroken. That makes me so sad. I need to make this grave beautiful. That way, their love can live on forever. I'm so lucky I get to do this. Okay, let's clean the cross now. A random act of kindness can brighten someone's day, even if they're no longer with us. I get to do this work because you support and follow. Come with
Oh.
In 1848, a large iron rod drove through the face and head of a man while he was working on a railroad. It passed behind his left eye and exited through the top of his skull, and he somehow managed to stay conscious while the rod was removed. Now, he did survive this incident, but he wasn't really the same person. You see, the rod went through his frontal lobe, and this area of the brain is responsible for decision-making and self-control. Because it was damaged, his entire personality changed. He became impulsive, erratic, and unpredictable. In 1848...
Nope.
To is
dans tes yeux. Je me noie dans les larmes de ton regard amoureux. Je ne veux que ton âme qui vagabonde sur ma peau. Une fleur, une femme dans ton cœur, Roméo.
Najczęściej najlepsi. Protože jestli někdo bude chtít naši bourat, tak naši školy uchrání.
Upon waking up this morning, Marge was horrified to suddenly realize that she was aging and her hair was starting to turn gray. When she went to her hairdresser, he assured her that this hadn't happened suddenly. In fact, he had been dyeing her completely gray hair blue for many years. The toxic dye had been poisoning her brain, causing her to forget everything. Just as she was about to get her hair colored again, a gray-haired couple entered the salon. They weren't at all self-conscious about their hair. On the contrary, they were enjoying life and even left the salon in a hot air balloon. This inspired Marge to embrace her natural hair color and present herself that way to her family. The Simpsons were a bit puzzled by this, but they tried to compliment Marge. Homer, in particular, made an effort, but he was still a little scared by the changes and couldn't quite get used to them. He tried to imagine that his wife was a Bond girl, but it still seemed a bit strange. Seeking advice, Marge turned to her sisters, who had long gone gray. However, it turned out that it was just ash in their hair, and they assured Marge that Homer didn't actually like the changes. Just then, Marge found out that her husband had gone to a club with his friends. She intended to bring him back, but the journey was tough, and she didn't arrive in the best shape. Nevertheless, even then, Homer finally and sincerely admitted that he loves her no matter what. Upon waking up this morning, Marge was...
My cousin was thinking about getting a Tesla, so I let him try out mine. I showed him all the cool things the car could do, like how fast it could go. Once he got the hang of driving it, he started going really fast. I got really scared because I thought we might crash. I kept asking him to slow down, but he wasn't a little worried that I called 911 for help, but they didn't take